message. That's the way God planned it. That's the way God planned it. That's the way God
Well,
wants
heaven's sakes, he's
to
got his
be.
own theme
Yes, it
music.
is.
He's got to be somebody cool. Of course he is. 633 of 1000 KTOK. Don Spencer, we know him as Don the Baptist, is with us this morning, actually in studio. How do we do that? Do we pay you extra, or how does... I mean,
Good morning, brethren. Well, when you can carry and protect yourself, I had no problem with no fear coming into your
what's
office
that the deal?
today.
Okay, all right. So yeah, and that's going to be the deal. We are going to sort of divide and define what's going on today, November 1st in 2012 in Oklahoma, because new gun laws go into effect today. And Don, I mean, you were my concealed teacher, and today, some of the things change, and so we need to know what we can do and what we can't do.
Well, what we can do, there's a lot of things that don't change. For starters, the person that can carry a firearm, you have to have a license. This doesn't change.
Okay.
The only thing that actually changes is you might see someone carrying a handgun. That's what changes here, because it's taken the crime out of if your coat was to accidentally blow open and your concealed weapon becomes viewable, now it doesn't matter. Or if you're just going to wear your firearm on your belt, it doesn't matter either. But the same places you can carry are legal, and the same places you can't carry are legal, are the same. No, there's been no change in either of those. So you can't enter a public building, you can't go into a school or a college or anything like that.
Because there's an elementary right up here, and I was going to go in and just no, we won't do that. Anyway, so the thing is, first of all, and this is really basic to me, and I'm sure to you, common sense.
Common sense.
Okay, but honestly, was it really as simple as having an article of clothing blow open and we can see our concealed piece? I mean, or
That
is
was
just,
was a
really?
crime. That was a crime.
No kidding.
That was a crime. That is
Wow.
correct. Because it was required to be kept out of view at the time. And also, what we got changed too is for those people that do not have a license on your own private property, you can carry a pistol, rifle, or shotgun open and not concealed as long as you are on your own property or property you control. You do not have to license. But if you leave that area, you do have to have a license to openly carry a firearm or carry a firearm.
Okay, and
outside
that
of
was a big deal too, because sometimes we have people here, and we love Oklahoma, and sometimes our yards are not just yards, they're an acreage.
Correct.
Or a little bit bigger or whatever, and with their being in the city limits of whatever township, that might have been a big deal at the time.
Yes.
But we're okay on that, even if we're hunting critters or something.
Well, we're okay on that even if you're just a guy that wants to drag his trash can out to the curb on a Sunday night and you don't live in a real good neighborhood and you want to be able to carry a weapon to do so.
Okay.
Which is what generated this for me to get this going.
Okay. All right. So this is not just a change in from concealed to open carry. Several other things have changed.
Yes, that was one of the things that changed. Also, what changed too is when you're open carry, specifically, it has been placed into law that if an officer approaches you and asks you to see your license, you are required to provide that license. And the law specifically says the person shall display the handgun license on demand of a law enforcement officer, provided, however, that in the absence of reasonable and articulable suspicion of other criminal activity, an individual carrying an unconcealed handgun shall not be disarmed or physically restrained unless the individual fails to display a valid handgun license in response to the demand. So this also states that if you're just minding your own business, you've not committed a crime, an officer cannot or shall not take your firearm from you or place you in handcuffs unless he can articulate a criminal act you have been involved in.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to make this clear. Don and I, Reid Mullins, are not law enforcement. We are not attorneys, or we're not elected by the state of Oklahoma, county, or city of Oklahoma at all. I just want to clear that up. But you also helped craft some of this legislation.
Yes, we were
so
heavily involved.
Where this is coming from.
Yes, and also there's another situation I would like to make people aware of. A lot of city parks may have a no-gun sign up, which is inconsistent with state law. You can open carry if you have a license into that city park. And also we had it put into the law, into the state preemption, that that the city you cannot be arrested for disorderly conduct or disturbing the peace just because you're peaceably carrying an open weapon. That weapon cannot leave the holster. If it leaves the holster, that could be considered brandishing or an act of deadly force, and then you could be arrested. So this is not a show and tell thing, and I want to emphasize that very heavily. If you're in a public place or a semi-public place, which would be like a grocery store, it's private property, but the public is allowed to come in. Do not remove your weapon from there. Only in a private property situation where you have the express permission from the owner or controller of the property.
Okay. Now, that begs the question, though, what if trouble happens?
Oh,
okay.
Self-defense is self-defense.
Okay.
That's where you stand your ground.
That's where, and I don't mean this in a funny way, but trigger, I mean, that's the switch right
Correct.
there, though.
Self-defense is not a crime.
Okay.
So if you remove your weapon for the act of self-defense, it is not a crime.
Okay. All right. We're going to have people that are going to go into areas and they have stickers on the doors, and they may be private property because it's a business, and that person owns that property or whatever. What do we do then?
Well, what we do there is if it was a property that was not previously marked, I would suggest contacting the proprietor of the property, because we've already run into this. Like, there's a movie theater in town that says, well, look, we put up the no gun sign because we don't want people to open carry. We don't care if they conceal carry. So that's a good trade-off. I don't have a problem with that. I'm still able to protect myself. So I would suggest checking with the proprietor on it and see if what their intent was. Mm-hmm. Some of them, like I say, they just don't want their customers to be uncomfortable. They don't have a problem with you having a firearm there.
Okay. All right. A lot of these things are something that somebody's going to need to read or look at, or do we have something online where people can go?
The
somewhere?
Oklahoma Second Amendment Association has a lot of these posted. Also, OSBI, you can go to the OSBI website and see all of the law there. And just like everyone else, they will tell you they do not interpret the law. Okay. It's there for you to read. Be a responsible citizen. Don't think about carrying a firearm until you know the laws, period. And also how to safely handle the thing.
And then final thing, Saturday we're going to get together.
Thank you. Yes, Saturday morning at Chick-fil-A on the South 240 and Western. We're having an open carry breakfast from 7 to 8. So if there's a place you want to go attend that you might have felt uncomfortable, you will be welcome there. And also at Johnny's at 33rd and Broadway in Edmond at noontime is another place. If you can't get up that early, you can go knock a burger out with us at Johnny's, and we'll be there open carrying, and you're more than welcome. And the proprietor said his only concern was, well, are they going to be ordering a lot of food? I said, yeah, they're pretty hungry people. I said, bring them on in.
I like that. All right, Don, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reid.
It's 640 at 1000 KTOK.